Welcome to the Life After Sugar podcast. The podcast that's not just about sugar, but about your relationship with it and also with food and especially with yourself. So if you want to discover your life after sugar and hear inspiring stories from all kinds of people who also cut out sugar in their way, at their pace, for their own reasons, this is the podcast for you. Because when you take away the sugar, you can finally discover the real sweetness in your life. I'm your host, Netta Gorman. And guess who's my very special guest on this episode? My mum. Now, this isn't the first time that I've invited my mum onto the podcast. In fact, we recorded a podcast episode together back in March 2022, that's episode 63. And now my mum is celebrating 10 years being sugar and flour free. How did that happen? And what does she feel like now? We'll get to this very special episode for my mum's 78th birthday in just a minute. But first, I just wanted to tell you that if you're looking for some free resources, then I have plenty for you. First, download my 5 tips to get rid of cravings. And those 5 tips may not be what you think they are. So go to aftersugarclub.com and download your 5 tips today. And while you're at aftersugarclub.com, why not take the cravings quiz? I created this cravings quiz specifically to help you start thinking more deeply about what triggers your cravings. And when you do this quiz, you'll get your personalized score as well as my practical tips to help you take your first step to get rid of cravings. Those free resources are at aftersugarclub.com. And also, come check out the Life After Sugar Facebook page and subscribe to the Life After Sugar YouTube channel, as well as my Instagram account at My Life After Sugar, which is where you'll get all kinds of inspiration so that you can see that it's perfectly possible to live a happy and active life, even if you don't eat sugar. You can also check out my TikTok account at Netta_Life After Sugar. Okay, so let's get to my chat with my mum. All right, so today I'm talking with my mum, Marcia, who, has been sugar-free and flour-free for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Do you mind telling us how old you are?
Well, next week I shall be 78.
Wow.
So I think I've done pretty well and I'm feeling great.
And how come you even had the idea of going sugar-free and flour-free? Tell everybody else, because I know.
I know you do. It's because that's what helped you a great deal 10 years ago. And you told me about it. And I was very interested and I was happy that it helped you because I know that you'd been suffering before that from all sorts of problems. And I said to you, send me the information, please. I'd like to know more about this. I'd never heard of such a thing before. And that's what you did. And I thought, well, looked interesting, read about it. And I knew it was good for you. So I thought I'll try it myself.
Now, so you were 68 at the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe not everyone's the same. In fact, I know not everyone's the same. But when you're 68, it feels like just thinking about changing, making such huge changes, or, approaching food in a different way than we are used to approaching it. Did it not scare you?
I don't know whether it scared me because I could see that it could be a good thing. And I was used even then to people changing the way they eat. Vegetarianism by then had become very popular. People were talking already about gluten issues. And so, I was fairly used to even veganism, which to me was, unheard of when I was a child. But so I was used to changes in the way that people eat. To myself, well, yes, it was a big change, but I never expected it to go on for very long. I thought I'll just give it a try. I had all sorts of uncomfortable symptoms at the time and bad digestion, and I felt that I was getting older and I didn't want to end up, aches and pains and feeling old like a lot of people that I know of my age. So I think that overcomes this worry about whether it's something scary. It was
Yeah.
just worth a try.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. And I often say, you have to be sort of backed into a corner by either your own body in this case or circumstances to think, well, maybe a change is less threatening than staying the same.
right. Yes, I think that's probably true. And I didn't find it difficult. I was amazed actually. I thought it was going to be really, really tough. And I didn't find it difficult, and I didn't find it difficult to continue. I just started to try it for a while, felt a lot better almost straight away. And as time went on, I felt even better and better.
So, what was it that you changed first? Was it sort of in chronological order, or did you cut everything with sugar and flour all in one go?
No, I think I started just with sugar, but I wasn't taking in very much sugar at the time. I mean, not for many, many years, I haven't sweetened coffee and tea and things like that. But, I did like desserts and jam and things like that. So that was sort of fairly easy to identify and cut out. The flour was a complete revelation to me. I'd never thought about it. And carbs in general, not just flour, potatoes, rice.
Yeah,
That's all the
starchy
starchy
carbs.
food, what I used to call stodge,
Mhm.
right? And that's what the British call things that are heavy and sort of sit in your stomach like
Yes,
like a dead weight.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But that are also staples of our
of
diet.
course, of course. And so we were told, and so we grew up. And I, a post-war generation, I'm a boomer, and sugar, of course. My parents loved to give me sugar because they didn't have any during the war. And it was wonderful for them. And my mother used to make wonderful cakes and treats and desserts, and they were so happy that that they didn't have all those restrictions from the rationing. And
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. It's totally understandable. And did you feel that by the fact that you decided not to eat any of those foods, the sugar, the cakes, that you were restricting yourself?
well, I must have done at the beginning. Obviously, it was difficult because I love them. Who doesn't like cakes and cookies and desserts and ice creams? And
Absolutely.
of course, it was just part of life, and it was fun. And I had the grandchildren, and they liked it, of course, and I
Yeah.
would eat with them, and why not,
Mm.
But it's the combination, I think, of sugar and fat and flour into things like pastry and all the other types of things, plus, bread, which you usually put something sweet on top, or not always, but
Mm.
very often.
Yeah.
Um, and that was difficult. It was definitely difficult because there's nothing like good fresh bread. And I had a bread machine. I used to make it, and it was wonderful. Scent would permeate the whole
Mm.
house. And I did miss that. It was difficult
Yeah. So how come you carried on if it was difficult?
because I felt so much better. You have to weigh up one thing against another, don't you? You always have to give something up and gain something, and yeah, that's life, isn't it?
Mm.
At least I, uh, I didn't expect it to be so good to work so fast and to work so well, and it really did improve my digestion, which was what was causing me a lot of trouble. I was very uncomfortable. I very often couldn't sit down. It really hurt me, and I was in danger of having surgery for hemorrhoids, which was very unpleasant.
Mm.
Just getting to that stage,
Yeah.
and I thought I had to do something, and this was worth a try, because most of the other things didn't seem to make any difference. And it was worth a try, and it worked. And I started to feel much better. I thought I'll try this a bit longer, then it became a lot easier.
Yeah.
Once you get used to it, once I found what to replace it with and what things I liked, and I found that I liked a lot of other things.
So, well, first of all, bravo to you for sticking with it because any change, and I say this as a teacher, like any change requires some level of discomfort. And if you can get through that period, sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter, depending. If you can get through that, as you say, it does become easier. And what were the first benefits that you noticed?
Well, first of all, definitely digestion, no question about it. That sort of cleared up and started to work properly, which cleared up a lot of the issues. That was huge, importantly thing to me. I wasn't very worried about weight, particularly. I've never been overweight, but I did start to feel that I was getting the middle-age spread, and I was starting to have to buy new clothes at a bigger size, which was annoying, and I didn't like to do that. And so gradually over some time, extra weight came off. And that was an extra benefit that I was quite pleased about.
Yeah.
I've just felt more comfortable and more agile. I mean, I've always exercised. I always do yoga in the morning
Yes.
every day, and I walk every day. I used to swim. I haven't since COVID for various reasons. It's complicated. But I also, I don't think I suffered too much from aches and pains ever. But now I don't at all.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like you're getting younger?
In a way, yes. I mean, I hear people, people of my age, and all they're talking about a lot of the time is, that they've had to go and have their back treated, and they go to this specialist and to that specialist, and maybe they're unlucky. I don't know, but I sort of think, well, I don't have any of that. I really don't.
Yeah.
And if I do have something, like I had a problem with my hip a little while ago, but it was gone within a few months. It was nothing compared to, I've never had to have surgery or anything.
Yeah.
Whether there's any connection, I really don't know.
I mean, they say that inflammation and systemic inflammation in your body, long-term chronic inflammation, is responsible for many, many aches and pains and illnesses. And maybe, just maybe, if you're not eating the foods that create inflammation, you're not getting the problems that are caused by inflammation.
Could be. I mean, I don't know. My mother suffered terribly from arthritis, terrible. And I always wondered whether that was hereditary, and I thought, I don't want to be like that. I really don't. And my father had heart disease since he was 40 when he had his first heart attack. And they both died relatively young.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't really want to do that. I just want to be healthy and enjoy life without all that. And I do.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And it feels like again, the idea of not eating foods that contain sugar or flour, especially, it feels for many people like it's completely impossible. And so if someone's feeling like that, listening to you, feeling, yeah, well, she can do it, but there's no way I can do it because I live with other people who eat those foods, or because I like to go out, or I have family get-togethers. How do you live real life? And you travel a lot, and how do you do that when you don't eat those foods?
Yes, it's not that simple, obviously. For me, for what I eat for myself, it's not that difficult. As I say, once I got past the first few weeks and realized that I could do this, I just kept going. But yes, you've got the issue about what do you do when you go and visit somebody else? What do you do about other people? Because as I said, I don't live alone. I have a husband and I have grandchildren, and they all like all this stuff. And I found it didn't really bother me, and I'm perfectly happy to make it for others. And just not something I particularly want to have.
So you still make bread and cakes for others?
Yes, I do actually. Yes. I mean, I don't make cakes a lot, but I buy it, and I make all sorts of, I make bread and rolls and certainly serve it, to people. And I don't find that a problem. It just doesn't trigger me now. I think it might have done at the beginning. It's hard for me to remember.
Yeah.
But it doesn't now, because I know that if I have that, I won't feel so good.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I don't really want it. I don't want something that makes me feel bad.
Yeah, and that is the key, and getting to that place where you've got I think it requires a little bit of distance from the trigger food itself to be able to think rationally, if only for a few seconds, to say, well, I'd rather not have the consequences of the food, to be able to have less that type of impulse control that I think comes with practice. I don't know. What do you
I
think?
think so. I mean, occasionally I've gone for something like quite recently, I had something that I really, really hadn't had for a long time, and it was delicious, and I had much too much of it. And the next day, I really felt terrible, and couldn't go anywhere or anything. I just had to wait for it to get
Come
over
out.
with it. Yeah. And I thought, that's it. Not next time, I'll have either one bite and leave it, which I can usually do,
Okay.
or just forget it altogether, just not have it at all.
Mhm.
And it just reminded me how easy it is to sometimes just slip up and go on impulse.
Yeah.
So nobody's perfect.
No.
It happens.
No, thank goodness for that.
And I thought, but on the whole, if you remember that, sometimes you look at something, you think, oh, that looks really delicious, but how will I feel after I've eaten it? You have sort of like 1 second in your mouth, and then you suffer for 24 hours or more. Why do that?
Yeah. Yes. And that, I think, from my experience helping people, it's a learned skill to learn to just take that split second, just think about, oh, hang on, how do I want to feel?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And you learn it. You learn it usually by slipping up, making mistakes. Not enough to just decide. You actually have to see this, ABC makes me feel really bad. So it's best not to eat it.
Yeah. I want to take a quick break to say that if this is your first time here, then welcome and thank you for listening to this podcast. And whether you're new or a regular and you haven't yet rated or reviewed this podcast, could I ask you to scroll down and tap on the stars to rate this podcast and also to write a short review to let me know how this podcast is helping you in your life after sugar. I love reading your reviews. And when you rate and review this podcast, not only does it encourage me to continue making new episodes, but it also helps to share this podcast and have more people see it so that we can help more people feel better and lose weight with less sugar. So again, thank you for rating and reviewing this podcast and for spreading the word about sugar.
And the problem with like traveling and going to visit people or going to restaurants, you find solutions, like you find solutions to things if you want to.
Yeah.
Traveling, I just try and eat what I can and take nuts with me or something if I don't get enough. Or just manage. I mean, I'm not really hungry anyway most of the time.
Yeah.
Because I think if you do get a good meal and you eat what you want and it's nice and tasty, then you're not really hungry. I mean, God, we've never been hungry in our lives. We don't know what hunger really is.
Don't. We definitely don't.
But,
yeah.
We live in a world where hunger doesn't exist in the Western world.
Agreed.
So it's just not a big issue really. And going to visit people, again, these days, I think, with all the different sensitivities and everything, if you say to somebody, I prefer not to eat things with sugar and flour, is that okay? And, people now understand that there are so many different things.
Yeah, totally. Yes,
Yeah.
It's definitely more open to different ways of eating. And, we don't expect other people to understand on an empathetic level, but just to understand that we're all different.
Right. I mean, not everybody understands. They start saying, well, you should enjoy yourself. You should just have a little bit. And actually, I'm lucky. I can have a little bit and then stop. So sometimes I'll do that just if somebody feels offended because I'm not eating a dessert that they made specially for the... Okay, fine, I'll have some.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not going to eat the whole lot. Just give me a small amount and tell them how wonderful it is.
And when people said, you should enjoy yourself, I'm like, I do.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I do. Yeah,
And because we assume that enjoying yourself includes all the sugary things and the
right.
desserts,
Yeah,
and it's a bit sort of a mindset shift to
yeah.
just get people to understand that you can actually enjoy yourself without sugar.
Yes, that's quite a difficult thing to get over because it's very deeply ingrained, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
from childhood,
Oh, yes.
and it's hard to get that. But yeah, and I'd say I eat what I like. I just change what I like,
Yeah, I say that.
and that really makes a huge difference. And it's difficult for everybody to understand that.
And it was difficult for us to even
Yeah,
imagine it.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So it's not like you wake up one morning and think, hey, I think I'll cut sugar and flour for the next 10 years.
Absolutely not.
I think we went into it kicking and screaming to a certain degree, myself more than you.
Yes, I think so. Because I already had your example. And you were saying, look, you remember I had all these stomach pains and I felt rotten. And I'd seen you not long before that and you looked really dreadful. And you said, I feel so much better now. You won't
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it at first. So I needed all the information because it sounded a bit weird to me.
And what sort of information did you read or did you learn?
I can't remember now everything, but it was really about the effect of sugar and the fact that flour actually turns into sugar, which I'd never really thought about, or I may have learnt it at school, but I'd never seen it in that context, and it's never presented to you in that context anywhere.
Yeah.
Again, you're as you said, we're brought up that that's what you eat and that's what you need to have, and the pyramid and all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
I mean, I've always been fairly skeptical about fads and theories about diet and everything.
Mm.
So I remember you telling me about good fats and not going with the low fat. And I went along with that. I thought that sounded right to me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Because you grew up in the 70s.
I grew up in the 50s, darling.
No, but I mean, I'm trying to be kind here. I mean, you were young, a teenager, no, in the 60s,
Yeah, yeah,
where often women especially become more aware of how we look
yeah.
and our weight and stuff. Did you have these messages about low fat even back then?
No, I don't think so. I think it came along quite a bit later with cholesterol. Cholesterol and low fat I don't remember exactly when it became the thing, but I was always a bit suspicious of it.
Mm.
And I mean, I still am, and I never eat anything low fat if I
Yeah.
can help it.
But the difference being that now you know why.
Yes, yes. Now I understand it a lot better.
And I'm skeptical of fads as well, but human biology, how it actually works, has been a fad for a few 100,000 years.
And I mean, in the long run, it's the result that matters. If somebody feels good on low fat, good luck to them. That's
Sure,
okay.
sure.
I'm not trying to ever persuade anybody else
Yeah.
at all. I mean, I would like, I have tried with the grandchildren to gradually reduce the amount of sugar that I give them, which I think is all I can do. It's not,
Absolutely.
not really.
And do they love you less for it?
I hope not. I don't think so. Anyway, they're big now, so they make up their own minds.
Yeah.
That's not really up to me.
Yeah.
The other thing that you did introduce me to, and mainly Simon,
My brother.
your brother,
Mm.
my son, is the fermented foods. And he used to make very, very good fermented foods. We had sauerkraut and fermented cabbage and carrots, and he made very good fermented cucumbers.
Mm.
And I used to enjoy that a lot.
And I used to think it was totally weird
It is.
because it's my brother.
But it solved a lot of his problems, his
Yeah,
digestive
it did.
problems, and it made him a lot healthier.
Yeah.
And then you got into all of that. And I have the last few years at home we've been making we always have a jar of fermented cabbage, white or red or both, in the fridge. And now I'm going to try the kombucha and the kefir, and you've given me some of the stuff
ferments.
for it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's helped. Yeah.
Yes, I think the magic formula, first cut the sugar as far down as you possibly can and the flour, that's like the secret. And then add in the fermented probiotic foods and drinks. And you have really the magic formula.
Yeah. Well, looks like it, doesn't
Looks
it?
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you're turning back time.
I hope so. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, because I mean, again, when I travel and I have to choose what I want, and it's very tiring to travel, and you think, oh, I need something to give me some energy, and I can't take the fermented foods or anything with me.
Hmm.
But I seem to have that already because I've been having it most of the time. It's not something you have to have every day necessarily. It
You can
takes you
take a
for
break for a week or two,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah.
And very often there's a good choice of things to have. Now, most of the places I go to, you have buffet
Mm,
style, so you can choose what you want
yeah,
and even have a tiny bit of something that looks absolutely delicious, and you just try it.
yeah.
And I'm lucky like that I can take a small amount.
Yes, you're more of a moderator than someone like me, I
Yes,
think.
yes, yes.
For certain things, like I don't even try sweet foods anymore. They don't tempt me because I don't like the taste of sweetness. I just had a peach and that was enough for 24 hours for me. And it was lovely. But for bread and certain types of bread, for me, like all that whole grain bread you brought us up on,
Hmm.
I don't like it. I don't know. It doesn't trigger me.
Good.
Whereas the white French bread, the baguette, I could eat the whole thing.
Hmm.
That triggers me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's all a test really because you find out what triggers
You
you
do. Yes.
when you slip, really.
Yes. Yep. Yes. You find your own thing.
Yeah. And things change with time as well. What triggered me 10 years ago, I don't know if it's the same for you, is might be different from now.
I haven't actually noticed that, but it's probably a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, I'm so happy with the result because, as I said, I've got a lot of acquaintances and friends around my age or younger. A lot of them are younger, and they're always, talking about their aches and pains. And I think, what am I going to talk about?
Well, I hope you wonder that for a long time to come. I mean, we would think that when you're nearing 80, that it's inevitable for you to get frailer and to have aches and pains and illnesses and that. And nothing like that is inevitable.
Apparently not. So it seems. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's right.
And
I mean, yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, sometimes I have to go to the clinic for, I don't know, flu jab or something. And once the nurse asked me, so what medications do you take? And I said, you're asking me the wrong question. That's not a question. The question is, do you take any medications? And if so, which ones?
Right.
She looked at me in amazement. She said, but look at your age, you're 70 something.
Mm. Yeah, good for you. Yes,
It
exactly.
just assumed.
That's right. Yes.
So,
And assume and sort of there's no space for anything different.
well, they should be, shouldn't they, really? But,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's what people have got used to.
And
That's how
probably
it is.
because it's the majority of people that experience that
I think so.
failing
And
health with age.
and it's definitely, I can only say to anybody, whether they're my age or 10 or 20 years younger, give it a try. What have you got to lose?
Yeah.
Just lose your discomfort and your aches and pains and your inflammation, and
Hmm. Yeah.
that's worth a try.
Worth a try
Yeah.
because, obviously we won't all react the same way, but chances are, whatever your age, you know, if you're dropping sugar and flour, and even if you add in the fermented foods and drinks, but even without that, just dropping the sugar and flour is very unlikely that it will harm you. And it will very probably do you good.
Right. And of course, there is a lot that can take its place. I mean, this is the other big question, isn't it? Well, what do you eat then? And I think I don't look like I'm starved. I may not be as plump as I was a few years ago, but I'm definitely never hungry. That's, as we said, you're never hungry when you eat well, when you eat nourishing food.
Yes.
And there's loads of things to take your place with. I mean, I eat meat and vegetables, poultry,
Yeah.
fish. I love salad, so
Yeah.
I've got no problem
And you
there.
eat fruit as well, don't you?
I eat fruit once a day, just a small amount. This
Mm.
morning I had like a quarter of an apple, and 3 strawberries, and there was enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite happy with that. I could have more. Berries, fine. If I can get, different kinds of berries, I'll eat a bit more because I really like them.
Yeah.
And they have very little sugar. And strawberries are a treat because they don't have sugar. They taste sweet, but they have very little
Absolutely.
sugar.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's, if you can eat dairy, then there's loads of cheese and yogurts and things like that. If you can't, then there are other options.
Brilliant.
And there's so many other options like avocado and eggs, of course, are wonderful. And again, people have sensitivities to a lot of different things, but sometimes you wonder whether some of those sensitivities may just possibly be connected to sugar
and flour.
And until you try it, you don't really know.
Absolutely.
Obviously, some people really do have of course they have sensitivities and they're quite genuine, but it's worth trying, first of all, just cutting out sugar and flour for a while and trying the things that you can eat. And then if you feel much better, keep going for a while. Just keep going. Why not?
Wonderful advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been 10 years and counting.
10 years, I know. Isn't it amazing?
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the credit goes to you, A, for giving it a go back then, and B, for putting your own well-being, up the top of your priorities.
Yeah. And you can do that. It's possible because you matter. Whoever you are, you matter. And it's a bit like, isn't it, in the plane when they say to you, put your mask on before helping anybody else. Women who are looking after other people usually need to be well so that you can look after other people and help other people and pick up your grandchildren and run around and do things that are fun.
Yeah.
And enjoy life and travel. This is the age, while we still can, to go traveling. I love to go all over the world.
Yeah.
I'm planning to go on safari to Kenya in a few months.
Fantastic.
And why not?
Why not?
And that's what I want to do while I can.
Yeah.
And your health is really important. You need to look after yourself, not just for your own needs, but for everybody else as well that's around you.
Fantastic. Such an inspiration, and coming from my own mum. Thank you.
You're welcome, love.
Oh, isn't my mum just great? And not just because she's 78 and feeling amazing, but especially because she was open-minded enough to give something new a try. And maybe that's hereditary, but that was also my approach when I first cut out sugar and flour and sweeteners as well. And I think that type of open-minded, adventurous, risk-taking approach, because let's face it, you don't know what's going to happen. Well, that type of approach is what can start the domino effect of transforming your relationship with food, with sugar, and with yourself. And that's exactly what I teach inside of the Freedom from Cravings Formula 90-day program. In the program, you'll get step-by-step guidance and customized support through the 5-step formula that I've developed to help you get control over cravings so that you can finally live your life with more energy and fit into your favorite clothes effortlessly, and feel confident in your food choices so that you can ditch the shame and embarrassment that you feel every time your emotions make you slip or fall off the wagon, and so that you never feel like you're on some kind of restrictive diet. If you're at the stage of your life when you're finally ready to look after yourself, let's chat. You can talk directly to me on a free clarity call at any time by going to aftersugarclub.com and clicking on Program at the top. You'll also find the link with the show notes together with this episode. So go to aftersugarclub.com. Speak to you soon. That's it for this week. Keep in touch and see you soon for another episode.